As we've been following the breaking news all morning long out of the bridge collapse in Baltimore, it has a lot of people wondering, how can a bridge this size collapse and so quickly too?
Joining us now via Zoom to give us more insight is Akeisha Belgrave, Associate Professor and Engineering Program Lead from Harrisburg University. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. So yeah, obviously you, like many of us, woke up this morning to hear the news, the bridge collapsed, the Francis Scott Key Bridge. What was your first reaction when you heard what happened?
My initial reaction was, wow, and I really hope everyone is found and everyone is safe.
Now, obviously, we've all seen the video of what appears to be the ship moving into the bridge, hitting it, and then it just seems to fall so quickly. I know it's hard to know the specifics of everything, and there's an investigation that will take place to look into it. But with your background and knowing the engineering here, can you explain a little bit about how bridges like this, the support system, and how something like this could happen?
So when designing a bridge, you want to make sure that you use the best materials, like steel, concrete. You want to make sure that you ensure it has the stability and resistance. More importantly, you want to make sure that there are continuous routine inspections that are done to just identify any signs of deterioration, damage, structural weakness, etc. Just speaking on my background, what I think might be happening is that the ship's collision may have directly impacted the main load-bearing elements of the bridge, which is just things like truss members, piers, abutments, things that are actually holding the bridge together. From the knowledge of the bridge, it has this continuous stress. There's this main load-bearing element on it, which is are called trusses, which extend from one end of the bridge continuously across it. So they are there providing supporting foundations, superstructures, connecting points are actually on the bridge to make sure that things like this never happen.
So obviously with this ship, I mean, this cargo ship is over nearly 1,000 feet long. We've talked about that. Is collisions, is that taken into consideration when designing a bridge? Obviously, the Patapsco River heads into the Port of Baltimore, a heavily traveled port. So something like this has to be thought of. Is it just the size of the ship that causes that damage, or what kind of goes into the play when they're designing a bridge and taking into consideration the possibility of a collision?
Yes, definitely. So definitely experienced engineers want to make sure that they take everything into account, not only impact, but also conditions that the bridge would be in. So the weather conditions, the environmental conditions, the stability of it, and where it is structurally placed in the ground. They take all of this into into consideration. Something like this happening at this point, and I'm not going to say how often they were checking it, but I'm sure they were checking this bridge, but this bridge is pretty old. But it could be the collision point, so where the ship actually collided into the actual bridge, which might cause the most damage to the bridge deck, or the superstructure, which just means like bending, buckling of the bridge, or any type of structural elements that might have dislodged at the point of impact where the ship actually hit the bridge.
And you were talking about there, yes, the bridge was built in 1977. So we're talking a bridge now that is 47 years old. Obviously, we've had technological advances from there. We've talked about this all the time, the infrastructure in our country. This has been a worry for people. So now we're taking a bridge that's almost 50 years old and putting a 1,000-foot ship into it. Can you talk about what advancements now that we have to make sure that this doesn't happen?
So to make sure it doesn't happen, I mean, initially you want to make sure that anything is cleared up and anything that is in the rebuilding is done. Any advancements that can happen in the bridges, I'm sure they already have been thought of.
Yeah, Akeisha, we really appreciate your time this morning, your expertise, giving us that insight, because a lot of people travel on bridges. A lot of people are concerned about this happening, but we appreciate your insight into how something like this could happen. So we appreciate your time this morning.
And Fox 43 Morning News, we'll be right back.